You know, there are certain moments in your life where you delivered bad news, tragic news, where you will forever remember exactly where you were at. I will forever remember where I was at when I got word that Kobe Bryant died. I will forever remember this. I was at Seasons 52 restaurant in Plano, and I'm sitting there with my wife and kids, and I'm reading this book about wolves to my two boys. And all of a sudden, I get 50, 60 text messages on my phone, and everybody saying, did you hear the news? Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news? Did you hear about Kobe? Did you hear about Kobe? I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. What are these guys talking about? I click on one of the links, video comes out. Kobe Bryant got into a fatal accident in a helicopter, and he died. And then an hour later, we get news that his daughter died, 13-year-old star. And I look at my wife, I'm like, babe, this has got to be a spoof. This is not real. People are playing a terrible prank, and this is just not fair. This is when news gets out of control and they report news too early. And then she gets the report. And then I start going to CNN, Fox, MSNBC. I'm like, wait a minute. And then finally it was verified. Yep, Kobe Bryant died. My 6-year-old son is sitting next to me, Dylan, and says, wait a minute, Kobe Bryant, my best friend, just died? I said, yes, buddy, Kobe Bryant just died. And he gets emotional because when Kobe came, I had him at our event with President Bush, and I was interviewing him. He spent 15 minutes with my son. My son was 5 years old at the time. He's talking to my 5-year-old son as if my 5-year-old son is an adult. The way he treats my wife, my family, my kids, the people in the back, from the lowest level security, just somebody that's working there, to the executive, everybody the same. Class act of a guy. This one's going to be a tough one. A lot of people message me saying, what are you thinking? I'm like, I can't even talk right now. I'm not in a place to say anything. But then we agreed it was probably a proper thing to do for me to share with you what I'm thinking about right now about Kobe. You know, I believe this is the most tragic loss in the history of sports. Most tragic. Listen, if you're a sports fan, you know what it is to be emotionally connected to a certain player, and you follow them as they come up. It's a very different kind of a relationship because you rarely end up building a friendship and a bond with them. It's from a distance you're watching this person. And in sports, we've had Thurman Munson, who was tragically, he passed away. We've had Derek Thomas. We've had Dale Earnhardt in the racing world. Ernie Davis. Roberto Clemente gets his 3,000 hit. He's from Puerto Rico. He hears about what's going on in Nicaragua with the earthquake, gets in a private plane. I think he goes and he crashes the plane with 5 total people on the plane. They all died. And Ayrton Senna, which for some of you guys know how much of a fan I am of Ayrton Senna, when he died in 1994, greatest race car driver of all time, when he died, Brazil was mourning because here's a nation that had, the economy was bad. They're not doing good. But they had one thing to look forward to, and it was this guy named Ayrton Senna that gave millions of dollars back to their country. To the point where I named my own daughter Senna. My daughter's name is Senna, S-E-N-N-A, because the race car driver. And as great as Senna was, the level of impact Kobe made to the world, there's never been a more tragic loss in the history of sports than Kobe Bryant. Never. Never. And with the social media world, everybody in the world stopped when Kobe Bryant died. Everybody in the world stopped when Kobe Bryant died. Not just sports, businesses, churches. People were messaging me saying, the pastor stopped, broke down crying, saying, I got some bad news for you. The entire church stops, saying Kobe Bryant just died. In the middle of a sermon. This is Kobe Bryant. It's not a regular guy. He impacted a whole way of thinking when it comes down to sports. There's a small group of people that belong in that mindset. Very few. Tigers, Jordans, Kobe's, Brady's, Senna's. It's not a big community. It's not. And he died. This guy won an Oscar. He's 41 years old. We're 6 weeks apart. When I think about Kobe, I think about my dad, because my dad and I would sit there watching this guy play. One of my dad's dreams was to watch him play live. I took him to courtside, sat right next to Kobe. My dad watched him play, couldn't believe it. I surprised him on his birthday, April 10th, 2010. Surprised him. He couldn't believe it. Like, Dad, this is what we're doing. He says, you're serious. Security escorted him to it. When Kobe played his last game, I was in Dallas. I was teaching a class to 400 of our students. I came down. My sister and I got in the car, got back to the house. It was 12:30. Obviously, West Coast, they were still playing, 12 o'clock, something like that. And he scores 60, and Shaq is on the corner saying, go for 40, go for 50. He goes for 60, making tough shots against Utah, I believe. Hayward was guarding him, I believe. Correct. I may be wrong, but I remember Hayward was guarding him. Scored 60 points. And this guy was just getting warmed up, man. You know, this one's going to hurt. This one's going to sting. This one's going to sting because, you know, Stephen A. Smith was saying something earlier, saying, you know, here's a guy that challenged everybody to think bigger. He says when basketball players would tell him, oh, I want to be an all-star, I want to be an MVP, he would say, tell me about your work ethic. He says he would interrogate you if you made big claims about what you want to do in your life. Oh, really? You're that serious about it? How hard did you work? He held everybody accountable. You have no idea how much I relate to this guy and how much I love this guy. This one doesn't make sense. You know, I was an atheist 25 years of my life, specifically for this reason. Because when I lived in Iran and we were getting bombed out, how do you believe in a God? I don't believe in God. What do you mean believe in God? You want me to believe in God after bombs were dropped on, you know, innocent people? It's not like this guy was drinking and driving. He's on a helicopter. He would always go on this. When he played for the Lakers, he's always going back and forth. I was on a helicopter just 3 days ago in Miami, and my wife and I were talking about if we get a house in Greenwich or LA, and in LA we're looking at certain places, or Greenwich, I would take the helicopter and go back and forth. It's a normal thing to do, and then boom, this happens. Just doesn't make any sense. But in these moments like this, when I think about Vanessa and the 3 surviving daughters and the family, there's only one thing you can lean on in these moments. No wonder the greatest leaders in the world and CEOs and people who have influence on other people that have gone through a lot of tough times, no wonder a big part of their lives is their faith of something, some kind of a higher power. It's not all the same, but they believe in something bigger than themselves. Because how do you handle it in moments like this? Think about living a life for 41 years where you give your best that when you die, the entire world stops. That's what this guy did. Kobe Bryant did exactly that. And he challenged everybody in all industries. All industries. Friends sent me messages saying, Pat, I'm sitting here watching the interview you did with him again. It's the last great interview he did. I said I would exchange that interview for him being alive today, man. Because it would be interesting to see what else he's going to do. But these are the things that's out of our hands. It's not in my hands. It's not in your hand. There are certain questions that we're not going to get answered for decades. Sometimes never. This is one of them. But I am personally grateful to have had a relationship with Kobe, to have had a chance to sit with him, to have had a chance to watch him play, to have had a chance to study his habits, his discipline, his obsession about greatness, the topic of greatness. The guy could have been an accountant. He would have ran a accounting firm, KPMG CEO. He would have been the CEO of that company. The guy could have been a financial advisor. He would have managed more money than anybody else. The guy could have been a gym owner. He would have built the biggest gym. And it doesn't matter what it was. Kobe's DNA was a DNA that was transferable to any industry. Very unique guy. Very, very unique guy. And I'm hurt. I'm still in shock. And I'm in pain. But I'm grateful at the same time for having met a unique, special human being like Kobe Bryant. Kobe will forever be missed. And the Bryant family, my condolences goes out to the entire family. Entire family. And for everybody else watching, whatever you're doing right now, man, call your mom, call your dad, call your kids. Kiss them, tell them you love them, appreciate them, and give your best to life. So one day people will also talk about your example to want to leave a legacy behind, just like the legendary Kobe Bryant left behind for the rest of us to talk about. Much love to you. Take care. Bye-bye.